Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. Seeing some clouds out around this morning as well as a few showers around the area. I did see some rain showers push through this past evening and expecting a chance of a few showers to linger around through the morning hours this morning, and then we'll see some partly to mostly cloudy conditions for the afternoon and a slight to very slight chance of maybe a passing shower later in the afternoon before things start to dry out as we go into the weekend. Another weather risk as we go through the day today will be elevated winds. We are currently in a wind advisory, and we'll likely see that continue through the day as we do expect those winds to increase this morning. If we take a look at our current surface analysis, we have this broad area of low pressure over the eastern Great Lakes that we'll slowly start to move off to the northeast, but that's going to keep things breezy through much of the next 48 hours. Again, continuing into the day on Saturday, but that should start to pull out of the area off to the northeast, and we'll see some high pressure building in from the south with a warming trend as we get towards the end of the weekend. If we look at current conditions this morning, a broken deck around 500 feet, a broken deck at 10,000 feet. Some light mist being picked up on the ob this morning. Otherwise, winds out of the south-southwest, sustained around 16 knots, and seeing those peak winds up around 26 knots. And the temperature is around 58 degrees with our relative humidity values at 96%. Take a look at the local radar. We could see some passing showers, mainly staying west of the Wallops area and tracking into the Delaware region. Can't rule out one of those showers pushing a little further eastward as we move through the morning this morning. Then a cold front will be pushing through and should keep most of that shower activity well out of the area. If we look at the current visible satellite, we see lots of cloud materials with that shower pushing through the area, all tracking off to the northeast. I think we'll see some partly cloudy skies as we get into the late morning, early afternoon, and then we'll see some clouds building back in as we go through the overnight. So if we look at the short-term model here to see how things play out, again, as we go through the morning hours, could see those passing showers pushing through the area this morning, and then we should see that clear out of here with things drying out as we get into the afternoon. As that front pushes through behind it, a few waves of energy possibly moving through the area, maybe seeing a light shower passing through. Very slight chance of any lightning with this activity, 10% or less. But as you can see here, some radar returns pushing through the area for the late afternoon, first part of the evening. And then as we go into the overnight time frame, we see things drying out. We will see some partly to mostly cloudy skies overnight, and then things becoming partly cloudy as we get into the day on Saturday. Also remaining breezy overnight, and once again seeing some breezy to windy conditions as we move through the day on Saturday, but more sunshine through the day and dry conditions expected. Going overnight Saturday into Sunday, we'll see mainly clear conditions. We'll see those winds lighten up, and as we go into Sunday, we'll start on a warming trend with a mild day on Sunday, and as we get into the afternoon, we could see things become a bit breezy for a little while in the afternoon, but otherwise a pretty nice day as we go through the day on Sunday. So if we look at our 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have a yellow risk for precip and lightning this morning with that shower activity in the region, and a yellow risk for those reduced ceilings of visibilities, and red for our winds that are above 25 knots. Again, seeing those gusts up around 26 knots, and we are currently in a wind advisory and expecting that to continue as we move through the day, as we'll see those winds likely become stronger behind the front pushing through the area out of the west-southwest, 10 to 15 knots, or 15 to 20 knots. And we'll see those peak winds likely this afternoon around 35 knots. We will see temperatures climb up to seasonable highs with a high around 67 expected. We should see some partly cloudy conditions as we get to the start of the afternoon, and then we'll likely see a ceiling develop around 5,000 feet and continue into the evening time frame. We do keep a yellow chance for precip as we go mainly for the later portion after 1500 local of the afternoon hours, as well as into the first part of the evening. So keeping that yellow chance of a slight chance of a few light showers passing through the area, and again less than 10% chance of seeing lightning with that area, so just a very slight chance. And then going into the overnight, we drop down briefly to an orange risk for winds out above 25 knots. Still expecting those gusty winds and pretty breezy sustained winds, but just slightly weaker winds through that period there, and then they pick back up as we get into the start of the day on Saturday. We'll see our low temperature just around 50 degrees overnight with the cloud covering the area, and then starting off with some mostly to partly cloudy conditions for the day on Saturday. We'll see tides running slightly above normal today. And as we look at the weekend forecast, we'll see a pretty nice day on Saturday, partly cloudy and seasonable, but we will see some windy conditions continuing through the day on Saturday. So we do have that red risk for winds above 25 knots, expecting a seasonable high around 65 degrees. Green conditions as we go into Saturday evening, overall mostly clear and seasonable with low around 47 degrees. And then we'll see a pretty nice day on Sunday with a warmer day above average temperatures with a high around 70 degrees. We'll see mostly sunny conditions. We'll see a breeze pick up again in the afternoon. So do have an orange risk for those elevated winds above 25 knots for the afternoon, but overall it should be a pretty nice day to end the weekend. That's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.